Welcome to my first video showing you how to remove the roof lining on a DB7 Vantage. There's a lot of myth going on that you have to actually take the windscreen out, it's very difficult, and I want to show you how easy this actually is to do. You don't need to remove the windscreen, you simply need to follow some very basic procedures, have some basic tools, and you can achieve this quite easily. Most importantly, before you do any wiring work in the car, disconnecting electrical circuits, always make sure you disconnect the battery. That's located in the boot. For this task, we literally got a few simple tools. So I've got a screwdriver, flat blade, a couple of upholstery tools, and a 17mm ring spanner to undo the seat belt mount. I've already taken the provision of to make this job easier. I've already basically taken the passenger seat out. Didn't need to, it just makes it a bit easier. And I've also put some material over the center rest and some of the trim, so that when I bring the roof lining down, I don't scratch any leather. You know, belt and braces approach, isn't it? Okay, so what we're going to start with is to remove the interior light and the sun visor. This is very easily done. Sit into the car. There's a slot at the top of here on the lamp. You can just pop a tiny little screwdriver in to help ease it out. Then using your trim tool, so you don't touch the trim, you can undo it like so, and it will literally pop out. You've then got two wiring connectors. You undo that one there, and that one there. Put the light to one side. The next job is to remove the sun visor. Do that. There's literally a little pop down tag here, which you need to undo. And get a Phillips screwdriver. Pop it in there, undo that screw, undo this screw. There's another one on the back of the sun visor. Undo this screw. Take the visor out like that, making sure you don't lose the screws. You can see the tag I lifted up to get access to this screw. Don't be tempted just to pull this from the roof lining, you could break it. There's a little tag, you lift the tag up with a little screwdriver and it reveals a concealed screw. The next job is to remove the A pillar cover, or disconnect it, the B pillar and the C pillar. We'll come to those in a minute. The A post, very simple. I've got my trim tool. I'm just going to put it behind here just to give me a little bit of room. As you can see, it's already released and it's popped out. I'll pull it through. There's a bit of Velcro that holds it. You can undo the Velcro. We're going to leave that in place because at the other end by the dashboard the trim is actually stuck in. We don't need to move it for this particular project. We're just going to tuck these wires out of the way back into the roof aperture. So as you can see, got the B post. We need to take the seat belt off. So using a little screwdriver, let you go in, take the little plastic cover off like that, it just prizes out. 17mm spanner. Just let that lie. But there is a little screw at the base, a little Phillips screw. Just need to undo that. I'll show it to you in a minute once I've got it out. That pops out. Put the screw back in. That was the screw which is fitted at the base of the B pillar. This side already looks like it's been out, so I'm just going to finish pulling it out like that. That comes out like that. There's a little clip that goes up into the roof lining. You have a wiring connector here which has got a little bit of foam around it. If you peel the foam back, push the little plastic tag in, that releases the lamp. So there's a little plastic tag and it locks into the base of the connector. We're left with the fixings here and here, and at the front on the pillar. So, having taken both sides of the trim, so we've got the driver's side, which I showed you on the first part of the video, I've done the passenger side, I've taken all the screws all round, so you had two on the C pillar, one on the B post and two on the A pillar. The roof lining is now literally just held in there by the plastic plugs that are used to retain the cover trims. So basically now the roof lining will come down. So we're going to try and do this and hopefully it'll all go well. So effectively what I'm going to do, I'm going to basically remove it from here, remove it behind the rubber trim. It should basically pop down like that. I'm going to remove, put it that way, and as you see it's dropped down. Now, very gingerly, I've got to try and bring it out the car at 45-degree angle. Like that. I've lowered the window on the passenger side, and obviously with the seat out, you can see how much difference it's made. By taking the seat out, it's given me loads of extra room, and that is how you take the roof lining out of a DB7. So the next bit will be to repair it. So now we've got the roof lining out, I've got it on a workmate, and I need to remove these poppers, these little plastic clips, and there's 4 on each side, and these can easily be done by taking a screwdriver like this, inserting it through the base, being very careful with your fingers, put a glove on if you want, and just working it through, pulling it out like that. Once you've done that on both sides, so you should have 8 of these retaining buttons. These are the ones that held the roof lining in place once we took all the black screws out. We're now going to peel the Alcantara back. We'll do this very carefully, don't want to damage it, we'd like to reuse it. And this is very simple, just going around the edges, lifting the material from the glue and releasing it very, very gently. Around the edges, obviously it's been very well glued, so we've got to be very careful when we're peeling it off. I'm going to fold it in itself for now, because I don't want to mess it up too much. You can see it's coming away. Nothing difficult here. Obviously replacing it because the Alcantara has separated from the foam backing. If you leave those poppers in, it's going to tear through, so it's really important you do take it out. And there we are, we've taken it all off in one piece. The next step will be to clean off all the foam. We can use a little brush. I'll get all that cleaned off, won't take long to do, in preparation for laying the new foam on. Okay, so we've taken the covering off and we're left with the backing board and this foam material that's starting to come away. So I've basically got a stiff brush like this. I'm just going to go lightly over the material. As you can see, the foam's coming off nice and easy, like that. When I've done that, the vacuum cleaner, continue to do the whole board. Once the entire board's done and I'm satisfied it's as clean as possible, I'll then be ready to apply the new glue and then the new foam backing. I'll just show you a board that I prepared earlier. So this is the board that I did earlier, ready for the glue and the new foam. Okay, so we've cleaned everything. I've bought some 2mm roof lining foam, which you can get from Amazon, eBay, and I bought some contact adhesive. I'm using this one, which is called Trim Fix Adhesive. So basically I'm going to put a layer of glue on the foam, a layer of glue on the panel, and then bring the two together. Just take it out of the way. Right, so this is the panel. Again, I'm going to put the glue on. I'm doing this quite quickly, it's quite a warm day today here. Okay, I'll say it's a very warm day here, so this glue is going off pretty quick, so I'm not hanging around. Make sure it's up on all the corners. Push it into the grooves. And that is stuck down on the top. I'm going to turn it over in a few minutes and stick all the corners and the edges. So I've trimmed all the foam. As you can see, I've stuck all the edges. I've brought them over, stuck them to the inside as the original foam would have been. You can see where the foam lining was here. I'm just going to do these bits here, and then I'm going to leave it dry overnight, and then we'll put the Alcantara on the next day. Give it a minute or so, and then we're going to stick that down. Once it's dried, I'm going to cut out all the areas. These are the apertures where the sun visors go. You've got the aperture here where the interior light fits, and so on. And then on the actual plastic card itself, there's some holes here where those plastic lugs fit to hold the roof lining in place. I'm going to fold this over, use my palm of my hand. I'm just going to bring it up and over. It is a particularly warm day, so this glue is going off quite quickly, so I'm not going to hang around. That way I get a nice edge. These little pieces to do here, bring them round, just trim there, and we're done. So tomorrow we'll cut out the apertures, glue them in place, and put the Alcantara in. So continuing on, I've stuck all the foam down, I've done all the edges. You can see it's all been stuck down nice and neatly. I've cut all the holes for the various screws and fixings we've got for the sun visors. I've also cut out for the lamp. Now, one thing here you might want to keep a note of is that obviously depending on the thickness of your foam that you're using, your filler material, you need to make sure that this aperture here is going to be okay to put the lamp back in, because it locks in to the plastic behind. So if you have an issue, you may need to very slightly shave this foam back a bit. So just be aware of that when you put your lamp back in. Perhaps trial fit it before you put the Alcantara on, just to make sure there's enough give.
To clean the Alcantara, the same process was used, as per the headlining board. Please note the vacuum cleaner must be on a very low setting to avoid damaging the material.
Okay, so we've got the Alcantara laid out. This is the aperture for the lamp, so I'm going to start at the top end of the board. That way if I get all this lined up and it's all correct, it should be really easy to follow through with the rest of the material. So I'm going to give this a bit of a spray. I'm not too worried about the edges right now. I just want to put some glue in this area just to start me off. So this glue is going to go off pretty quick. So I'm just going to pick this up, take this out of the way for a minute. Take off it. Got my board.
And then we're going to put some glue onto the headliner board.
Okay, so that's that bit done. This is a little tricky, sorry about the noise outside. Starting off right in the middle, just trying to get this bit lined up. Once I get this bit done, if this is correct, then we should be good. The rest of it will be fairly straightforward, hopefully. Again, because it's so hot, glue is literally drying as fast as I'm putting it on. So I'm just working it in. I'm going to carry on, a bit at a time. Don't want to rush this. Again, because it's so hot, glue is literally drying as fast as I'm putting it on. So I'm just working it in, a bit at a time. So I'm going to carry on doing that. I'll get right the way to the end and then we'll come back and see how it's all ended up. Okay, so finally, after quite a bit of work, we've got the Alcantara stuck to the roof lining panel. I've still got all the edges to do, and once I've done that, I'll turn it all over, sort all the edges out, and hopefully that'll be it. Give it a good clean, and then the next job will be to refit the roof lining. Okay, we've done all the edges, I've trimmed all the holes, cut out the apertures for the sun visor and for the interior light. Importantly with the interior light is to make sure that you cut enough of the foam material around and trial fit the lamp before you put the roof lining in the car, because if you don't you're going to have trouble fitting the interior light. It's a big tip. So finally we're left with these plastic clips. As you can see, these are the clips. There's 4 on each side, and they essentially hold the A, B and C pillar trims in place. More importantly, when you put the roof lining in, they allow you to put the roof lining in place and it will hold itself there. It'll sit on these 8 little lugs while you get the screws that fix into the actual steel framework. So it's a good idea to make sure they're okay. Now, if they come out and they're like this and they're a bit knackered, and they will do occasionally, you can buy brand new ones, and they're not expensive, and for what it costs, if you're going to do the job properly, go out and get a few. You can pick them up on eBay. They're easily obtainable. They're Jaguar parts. And I'm just going to show you how to fit them, just like how we took the old ones out. I've used a screwdriver, I've inserted it like that, and I've pushed it in, and it actually locks into the actual backing board. I've cleaned the hole out here to make sure that it's okay. I'm going to put my plastic plug in like that. I've got it in. I can feel it with my finger on the back here, so I know it's gone through. I've got the screwdriver and I've pushed it into place like that. It's as simple as that. So all the way around, there's 8 in total. We've done all that. The interior light, as I say, I've trial fitted that. Just take that out of the way. Trial fitted the interior light, that's all good. So we're now in a position to put the roof lining in the car. Okay, so at the final stage now, we need to put the roof lining back in the car. I've covered the car, the material, the leather I should say, with a sheet. I've also taken the liberty of putting some masking tape on the dashboard. Didn't do on the way out, I was very lucky I didn't damage it, but in hindsight probably should have done that. Don't want to mark it if I can help it. So I'm going to get the board, I'm going to put it back into the car and we'll go from there. I'm going to go all the way around, finish getting all the trimming, get all the little 6 screws, the screws in all the way around and all the corners, and then I'll put the panels back in.